Okay, a fully charged lead-acid battery has a positive plate of lead dioxide and a negative plate of lead. Okay, so lead dioxide is the positive side, lead is the negative side, and it's surrounded by sulfuric acid in a solution, which is the electrolyte that's inside it. The difference in potential voltage between the lead peroxide and the lead is approximately 2.1 volts. Right? During discharging, the positive plate of lead dioxide combines with the SO4 from the sulfate from the electrolyte, okay, from the sulfuric acid. So the lead dioxide combines with the SO4, the sulfate from the electrolyte, and releases its O2 into the electrolyte, forming H2O. Okay, so you end up with the electrolyte turning into water. The negative plate also combines with the SO4 sulfate from the electrolyte, and it becomes this lead sulfate, right? Lead sulfate, which is PbSO4. So when a battery discharges, you're starting out with a battery that's the plates in hydrochloric acid. Once it discharges, the electrolyte turns to water, and both plates have SO4 on them. And that's when someone says that your battery has been sulfated. It's because fully discharged, both plates are the same. Right? So you can see here, you have your lead dioxide positive plate, you have your lead negative. Once it's charging or discharging, you'll see the sulfate goes to both plates and the oxygen joins with the hydrogen. So you're left with a bath of water and two plates that are lead sulfate. When we're charging, right, and the alternator's back in the mix, or we're charging it up, then we have some do-si-doing going on, right? The sulfate goes back to the hydrogen, and the oxygens go back to the lead dioxide plate, right? If you want to see that again, we'll go back here. During discharging, the sulfate comes out of the sulfuric acid and joins to both lead plates, and the O2s switch up between the two H2 molecules and make water living in the case. When it charges back up, the oxygen returns to the lead plate on the positive side, forming lead dioxide, and the sulfates go back to the hydrogen atoms and go back to sulfuric acid. If we have a hydrometer, we can test the condition of that electrolyte. Most batteries do not have removable caps anymore, but when they did, we were able to drop a little eyedropper looking thing inside, take a sample, and it would give us the specific gravity. Right? So a fully charged battery has a specific gravity of 1.265. If we measured 1.225, it would only be 75% charged. 1.190 would be 50% charged. 1.155 would be 25% charged. And it's fully discharged if it's lower than 1.120. Right? So what is specific gravity? Right? Specific gravity is the ratio of the density of the liquid being tested compared to the density of water. Right? So in the case of battery tested, the hydrometer is measuring the specific gravity of the battery's electrolyte. The higher the acid concentration in the electrolyte, the higher the specific gravity. Okay, so many times when a battery would go bad, we'd go back to that battery with a hydrometer and we'd find one cell was in the tank. And that just dropped the ability of the rest of the battery to deliver what it's supposed to, right? Recombination batteries, right? These are AGM batteries. So we have two different kinds. We have a gel inside rather than the liquid electrolyte. Being that it's suspended in like a sponge type material, that gel lets us install these batteries sideways, upside down. They can put in any direction because there's not a floating liquid inside. It's corrosion free, very low maintenance, right? They hold up pretty good. They can last up to 4 times longer than regular batteries. They can withstand deep cycling without damage, so they can be drained and recharged and drained and recharged. You'll see them many times over 800 cold cranking amps, which makes them very strong. When it comes to terminals, we have different kinds, all depending on the application. We have side terminals, and that's what you see on GM cars most of the time, but not all of them. A lot of times you'll see top post, and then you'll see L terminals. And L terminals you'll see when batteries are used in trucks and they're chaining them together, right? The cables will go from one to another. You'll see them on motorcycles. You'll see them on lawnmowers, L terminals, right? Post or top terminals on most automotive. Side terminals are threaded and positioned on the side. And L terminals, you'll see them very frequently if you start looking for them. You won't find them on conventional cars, but you will find them on motorcycles, tractors, and large trucks. So all batteries have a rating to them, right? We have an amp hour rating, and that's the amount of steady current that a fully charged battery can supply for 20 hours at 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold cranking amps is the more common thing that we come across, and that is the load in amperes, in amps, that a battery can deliver for 30 seconds at 0 degrees Fahrenheit without the voltage dipping below 7.2 volts. So when you see CCA ratings on batteries, which almost every battery has on it, this is the test that's determining that amount. Reserve capacity rating. The length of time in minutes that a fully charged battery can be discharged at 25 amps before the battery voltage drops below 10.5 volts. And we have a watt-hour rating. And just like before, it's calculated by multiplying the amp-hour rating times the battery voltage. Right? So just like we measured using Watt's law when we were doing Ohm's law.